putting the spotlight on local businesses in the capital city. This is 402 Business Insider with Travis Filing and Gary Tharnish on 1499.3 KLIN.
And good morning, Lincoln. You're listening to the 402 Business Insider, sponsored by Barry Law and Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I'm Travis Filing with Transformation Marketing, and with me, as always, Gary Tharnish with the Home Design Real Estate Group. How you doing this morning?
I'm good.
Oh, man, all the snow. All the snow.
I'm going to become a weatherman because you can be wrong 50% of the time and right 50% of the time. You still get a paycheck.
I know. And get paid well, and people still tune you in tomorrow.
I know they do the best they can, but it cracked me up. It was going to be just like 1 or 2 inches, maybe. We're on the tail end of it, and then it's 2 hours to get home.
Right. I heard what you were telling me, I think. Didn't you say it took Tom like
2 hours and 10 minutes to go what is normally a 22-minute drive?
Jeez.
And really it's a combination of things, right? Lincoln's grown from us. We always say it, or not we, but a lot of people, it's a small, big city. You know, it's really a big city. I mean, it's a pretty big city anymore. And really our infrastructure never really grew to what it needed to be in the inner city, getting out to the burbs, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really
What would the inner city be and what would the burbs be?
We're in the inner city right now.
Okay.
44th and O Street's about, that's about inner city. Okay, we'll just call the center of city to the outskirts of the city. I'm going to get crap for that. I know it.
As you should.
Right now, as I should. Okay, fine. But, we don't have a good 4-lane road that goes all the way from Cornersker Highway to Rokeby Road. Right? You have all these little sections where it closes, except 84th Street, which is in constant repair and is on the far east side of town. So, I don't know. Anyway, I think that's some of it. But there were a lot of accidents, and that's because we've had 20 years of fairly mild winters. Like, I remember really, really deep snow. I used to walk 4,327 miles to school uphill in the snow.
Oh, the whole way.
No cookies. Yeah. Anyway.
I can't believe the school closure thing. Growing up on Lake Erie, right? We could have had 5 feet of snow. They're like, go to school.
Yeah, you couldn't see school until you were right there.
Yeah.
Because the snow was so high. I know. I remember in Minneapolis when my son was living there and going to their house one time, and they were kind of up on a hill, and you still couldn't see their house because there was literally, like 7 feet of snow on the side. I mean, where do you put it?
Oh, yeah.
At some point. Anyway, kind of interesting. Yeah. But yeah, it is what it is, right? I mean...
You're listening to the weather edition of the 402 Insider. Well, our guest today is Mike Rodriguez from inExhaust. So how you doing today, Mike?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good weather we're having today.
So I know.
It is today. Nice. I'll take it.
Somebody told me snow today, but it's like, here comes the sunshine.
There were little flurries coming down when I came in.
Was there?
I was the last one in here. You guys probably missed it.
You're always the last one in
Thank you.
Well, Mike, you have been in manufacturing for quite some time.
Correct.
And you started out with, was it GT Exhaust? Tell us a
Exhaust.
little bit about kind of your journey, how you got to got into the industry. How'd you even get to Lincoln? You're wearing a Dodgers hat. That means you're probably not a Lincoln guy.
Right. California native, born and raised in California, came to Nebraska because GT Exhaust was originally in California and got asked to move to Lincoln. So we did that in 92. It was a manufacturing company of industrial exhaust silencers and accessories and product like that. And my job was to hire my replacement. I was the only California native. I just got married, just had a kid. And my quest was to find talent in Nebraska to replace me and do the whole shop.
And you're still looking.
I'm still looking because I'm still here.
What a terrible thing to be asked.
that
hire
would be
your
weird.
replacement. That'd be really difficult for me. We need somebody odd.
Right. Yeah.
So were you were just planning on going back to California? And
that was my thought before, because the owners of GT Exhaust were two owners, just like Juan and myself are for inExhaust. I was the only California native. And it's like the wrath of your mom to not go back home. Forget it. We're not going to do that. This is what we're doing. So like I said, I just recently newly married, had a kid. We had a discussion and said, this is a great place to raise a family. So I've been here ever since from that.
Nice.
So we grew with 11 people from GT Exhaust in 92 to as much as 180 people, 2 shifts, 6 days a week.
Wow.
So that's what we came from. That's where I came from. We're growing our team, our sales team and manufacturing team. And that business was doing great all the way until 2008, 2007.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I once put transmission fluid in my oil thing in my car. So I'm not really good, obviously, with anything mechanical, or I'm just throwing that out there. There's probably 3 other people listening that are like me out of the 5,000. So what exactly is it that you do? You do silencers for, I'm thinking like silencer on a gun, only you do that for big machines, or?
That's great. It's a misnomer as far as that goes. So industrial mufflers, or like mufflers for your car.
Okay.
Same type of thing, but in an industrial stationary arrangement.
Okay.
So you have industrial genset that powers a building or several data centers and things like that. We do a custom exhaust system to keep the silencing down, the sound down, to basically on top of that genset.
Which would be important for, the sound, like out where they're building the new Google. Is that a Google facility they're putting out there?
I believe it is.
Those look like huge generators or something outside there. There's a bunch of them. So you keep those silent, or as silent as possible.
Yes,
basically.
There are certain noise specs and sound specs that we need to adhere to, and we do that based on all our knowledge that we've had for years and years.
Awesome. There,
wow.
I just needed that clarified. Now I know that. Good deal.
That's a good thing. Thank you for that, Gary, because a lot of people don't know what we do.
That was me.
So,
and I did a lot. I actually studied a little bit about this and still was like, I have no clue.
So GT grew to about 180 people. And then that was, and then 2007, 2008 happened, which we all know what happened there.
Yeah. 2008, we had one of the owners wasn't healthy, and they had a contingency to sell the business. So they sold it to another local person here in Lincoln, Ed Osborne, who bought the company and just continued that legacy with him and his team. So we all stayed with that. And 2012, they said, no, we're going to sell it to a UK property and IEC. And they decided to just take over that portion of the business.
And what is the IAC? What did they do?
IEC is a company that owns multiple companies and does different products. In this particular case, in my lifetime, I never expected to work with my competition.
Right.
That is just a monumental thing. It would never happen. But what they did is they bought GT Exhaust and they bought a couple other companies that were our competition. We're supposed to be under one roof.
Okay.
So you can imagine the Brady Bunch. And I say, you just all need to get together and get along and just make this work.
Yeah, that would be difficult.
Yeah.
That would
Mike.
So
it was Marsha.
It was a wonderful experience. We kind of, we measured ourselves up and said, hey, what are we going to do to make a constant, good, common product for IAC under that banner?
So the two competitors that they also bought, were they local?
One was in Texas and one was in Canada.
Okay. So did they move them all here to one location, or?
The Canadian outfit moved here to Lincoln.
All right.
The one in Texas said, no, we're going to stay here because this is where we do a better, we're more centrally located for what we're doing.
Okay.
So we said, oh, it works for us. That'll be okay.
Okay. That was in when?
That was 2012.
2012. Okay.
All right. And so then this new company, so you started working together, but it didn't last very long, did it?
Yeah. I don't know the exact reason why they decided to sell everything off after 3 years, because we were doing everything geometrically growing our customer base. We have a legacy. We have all these customers under one. I mean, it should have been a slam dunk, but the owners of IAC said, no, we're just going to go and sell everything off. So they ended up selling where I came from, GT Exhaust, to another competitor.
Oh, geez.
So I'm thinking, wow, talk about value added. What's going on?
Right. Yeah.
So, Juan and I were, 4 days before Christmas, we lost our job, as well as at that time, 300 some employees.
Wow. And did they just close the facility?
They closed the facility the following month, like in its entirety.
So was it just not profitable so this company comes in, they buy it, and from when they bought it to when it closed, how much time did that?
It's about 2.5 years, almost 3 years.
So they basically bought your book of business, because when they close it, that's all they have, right? I mean, they don't have the building, they don't have
some machinery probably.
Well, you hear of horizontal growth all the time, but that's kind of a surprising type of horizontal growth to me. I mean, why would you, other than they gain your customers, which you could do without buying a company?
Yeah,
I would think. I mean,
well, through competition, you would think.
Yeah.
So were they moving your jobs in manufacturing out of town, or?
So legacy of GT Exhaust moved to our competition, which is in Wisconsin.
All right.
So whoever wanted to go to Wisconsin, they followed.
Oh, they could. Okay.
They could. And there was literally less than 10 people that went.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at as far as that goes, now we're in the aftermath of, we don't have a job.
Yeah.
There's an empty building.
Yeah.
And then what are we going to do?
Wow.
So did they not move the equipment, or I mean, it kind of stayed?
They moved some equipment and some equipment they bought. So then they just auctioned the rest of it.
All right.
And that was just kind of it. And what year was that?
That was in 2015.
Wow. So we have a break coming up here. So let's run to that real quick. And then when we come back, we're going to dive into buying the business and getting started. So I want to give a quick shout out to the Lincoln Airport for sponsoring the show. Business owners, flying out of Lincoln means shorter lines, easier parking, and a smoother travel day, getting you and your family and your employees to where you need to go without the hassle. Not to mention, flying from Lincoln strengthens our community. You're listening to the 402 Business Insider. I'm Travis Filing with Gary Tharnish. Today we're talking with Mike Rodriguez, co-owner of inExhaust, and we'll have more right after the break.
Hey, welcome back. You're listening to the 402 Business Insider, sponsored by Red Rhino Roofing. Awesome company. You need a roof, check those guys out. Anyway, today our guest is Mike Rodriguez, co-owner of inExhaust. That's inExhaust. inExhaust. So you just kind of live in exhaust.
There you go.
Woo! So it's been great chatting with you in this first section. We ended up, if you're just joining us, you didn't hear the first part, but ended up with your company, the company you're working for sold. And did you say it was like around the holidays?
Right around the holidays.
Right. So that's time. Super joyful.
That's always nice.
Always.
Hey, 4 days to Christmas. Guess what you're not going to be doing on Christmas? Working.
Yeah. Exactly. No, check.
Come on.
And then you had the opportunity to move to Wisconsin if you wanted to. Obviously,
correct.
Well, I'm assuming you didn't because you're still here. So at that point, what did you do?
So my business partner, Juan, and myself worked at IAC Acoustics, or previously GT Exhaust. And he's always had this idea of starting a business doing some exhaust accessories. Just basic parts to go with an exhaust muffler or an exhaust silencer type of thing. We were going to go ahead and do that anyway prior to this company closing.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of had this idea of doing it, and we're looking at the business plan and what we were going to try to do. And when the business we're closing, you guys are out of a job, I was like, okay, we need to do this now. So we came up with a business plan. And I'll never forget, we've been talking about it for weeks on out to do something like this idea. And he has this entrepreneurship type of mentality all the time. He's always looking to do things that way. I love how he thinks.
Yeah.
So he calls me on a Sunday and he goes, all right, are you in or are you out? And I'm like, I knew exactly what he meant. So I said, okay, cool. I'm in. Wait, hold on. I asked my wife, Kay, we're about to do this. We're going to eat ramen for I don't know how long.
Not going to see a paycheck for 6 months.
Is it okay if we do this? And she goes, yes, absolutely. Go for it. It's like, sweet, let's do this. So we ended up coming up with a business plan, and we basically labeled our business Innovative Exhaust Solutions. And we visited every bank in town to get funding to run it. And they kept saying, I love your story. I love the fact that you're going to bring all these GT Exhaust ex-employees come to work for you, do the same thing. But no, when it's like, you hear that once, hear it twice, 10, 15, 20 times, you're like thinking, are we doing the right thing?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
That's always tough. I mean, going in and putting a business plan together and presenting it to a bank, because we've done it. I've done it. Gary's done it. Yeah. And you got a lot of no's.
Yeah, mine was 9 before the 10th one said yes. And then when they said yes, I was like, I almost went, really? And then I started, all the doubt comes into your mind, like, is this a bad bank? Like, they said yes.
Yeah. See, and mine was an infinite amount of no's, because when I left radio to go work with Shannon, it was 2008. The economy crashed. Everything was tanking. Every single bank said no. So I went to the bank of 401k, cashed it out at 50% value. Then you pay all the taxes and everything else. And that's how I funded my business, because it's like, you know what? There's no banker in the world going to tell me that we can't make this work.
Yeah.
And we did.
And so that was for transformation marketing.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So also everybody's cutting marketing.
Oh yeah.
In 2008, because it's like, which is, not wise, but it's what happens because it's the one place on the P&L that you can think you can cut and be okay.
Oh yeah, my folks were ready to call in the guys with the straight jackets. They're like, you're trying to do a marketing, because the marketing business was already 5-6 years in existence, but it was just one person and it was a side hustle for the most part. I mean, Shannon worked there full time, but that was it.
Yeah,
and so it's like I probably should have had my head examined. I probably should have waited another year or two to do it, but you know what? That's the way it goes.
So you got a yes.
So we got a yes. It wasn't for the whole amount we wanted for it. We'll take it. We said, this must be God's will. We're very spiritual people. And say, listen, if God wants us to succeed, please give us the loan.
Yeah.
If we're not, just don't bother. We'll get regular jobs and everything will be fine. So we knew we had a quest. We had to get this done. And we ended up having 6 employees to begin with. And let me just tell you the type of people that work for us. The first year, we came late to the party because of the bank saying no. So we had 6 employees doing the work of, say, 100 people.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
So
nobody knows inExhaust is a small company. They just think we're moving buildings. So these 6 people, we gave them bonuses, whatever we had. They gave them back.
Wow.
They gave them back, says, you need it more than us.
That is absolutely amazing. That's so cool.
That tells
speaks a lot for your character as well.
Yes. Yeah. That tells you a lot of that tells more about you and Juan as employers than anything else. That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Are those 6 still with you?
Yeah, half of them are with us.
Okay.
The other 3 have moved on to other things that they had passions for. So that worked out. We support them also.
Oh yeah, sure.
Stuff, and everything.
Wow, that's so cool.
That's unbelievable. So what year was that? You guys?
That was in 2016.
Okay.
2017.
Okay.
And so where did you guys move to? Because I imagine if you had 180 employees, you're not in the same building.
Right. So interestingly enough, we're in this huge building, which is in the Lincoln Airport area. The IAC Acoustics was there. It was a bond that was done for that. And we moved out of that building. So Juan and I, dressed to impress, go to Lincoln Airport Authority and see our mutual friend, David Herring, and said, hey, we're interested in getting the IAC building. We thought the big building. So he goes, oh, please come in. We should make something to drink. And it's like, no, I meant the little building that's across the street.
We meant the shed that they were storing stuff in.
Okay. Well, yeah, we can work something out. That'll be fine.
Coffee back.
It was really funny. So we started getting some lease paperwork together. We ended up being in that building, and it was already ready to go. So we just took it as is and get everything moving from that point on.
So did you guys have to buy a ton of manufacturing equipment? Because it's not a small operation that you have.
Yeah, we had to buy everything from with zero. Like we had nothing in the bank. So we had the bank's loan to get everything that we needed to operate.
Wow.
That's huge. Good for you.
And so in the beginning, I mean, we always talk about how hard it is making payroll and like for us, we got to a point where you're selling golf clubs and selling just about everything you have just to make sure everybody under your care gets paid. We're not getting paid. But the employees get paid.
You open up your desk drawer and go, okay, there's 6 paychecks in. I got to deposit
I got to cash one sooner or later. Yeah.
I think, the first few months I think we even went through as much as probably about 6-7 months. We didn't get paid.
Yeah.
Sure.
We didn't get paid at all.
Yeah, we hear that all the time. And you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. And we were talking before the show started. We were talking about how people are under the perception that you're a business owner, you're rich. I get paid the most, but I also get paid last. That means when the well runs dry, my paycheck goes in a desk drawer.
Yeah.
Well, you can go cash yours.
So full disclosure, because your wife's here sitting right behind me, and I'm going to ask you a question about her. And Kay, I know you're right back there. You can answer it if you want. But for me, in an entrepreneurial spirit, there were times it was really hard for my wife because she did not have an entrepreneurial spirit. So she did not understand those tough times. Was Kay on board with you pretty much?
Absolutely.
See, that good for you, Kay. Yeah. Amen. Because it takes that. Yeah. That's good.
It's
that's
tough.
Good. Because not everyone has that entrepreneurial spirit. And when I say that, the spirit of you're going to work through the tough times to make ends meet. And that means you're going to do without even sometimes some of the basics. Like you guys had ramen for dinner, ramen mixed with eggs for breakfast, leftover ramen for lunch. I get it. I remember those times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and hopefully we'll never see those times again. That's for certain.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, we have another break coming up here pretty quick. So let's run to that. I want to give a quick shout out to Mendoza Family Insurance. Greg Mendoza, incredible guy. We got to have him in and have a chat with him at some point. Just talk insurance.
Yeah,
but
we haven't yet. Yeah.
No, we haven't. He's a local guy, and it's him and his wife, and their kids are running this business. And he's been in for quite some time, and he really looks out for you when it comes to insurance. So, you pick up the phone. Hey, Greg, it's Travis. Yep. How's it going? He knows your name. He knows who you are. So go check him out. Mendoza Family Insurance. That's MENDOZA familyinsurance.com. Tell him Travis and Gary sent you. You're listening to the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish, talking with Mike Rodriguez, co-owner of inExhaust, and we're going to have more right after this.
KLIN.
We're back on the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish, talking with Mike Rodriguez from inExhaust, sponsored by Western National Bank. I actually saw Todd driving into Panama. He's going golfing while I was driving out. So I hear the horn honking, and I look up and like, oh, it's Todd from Western National Bank. It was kind of cool to see. It is time, third segment, for 5 takeaways. This is where we get 5 things from our guests that our listeners can apply to their business on Monday morning. Sponsored by Nebraska Farmers Network. So, Mike, what is that first piece of knowledge that you want to hand off to our listeners?
Besides getting your head examined to do it, I think you just got to get used to hearing the word no.
Yeah.
So you have dreams and aspirations, and just be comfortable in that. It's no today, but it'll be a yes tomorrow.
Yeah.
So.
And you're married. Is that a problem?
I was thinking the same thing.
Just kidding,
because you are.
It's always yes. It's always yes.
Exactly. I know what you mean, though. It is tough because my spirit was high and ready to go, and by like the third no, I was already like you said earlier, like, am I doing the right? Like, do they know more than I know?
Right. What are they seeing that I'm not seeing?
Yeah.
Because that was us. And it's not just the banks. Mm-hmm. The banks are going to say no. The customers or potential customers are going to say no. Candidates who you want to hire are going to say no. No is probably 90% of your business ownership experience. And it's that tenacity that you got to get past it. Because my business, we never found a bank to say yes until we started becoming successful. Then they'll loan you money. Then it's easy to get money.
Then they're knocking on your door. Which is so interesting, right? So it used to be, and I think in rural communities, it's still that way. For example, I find doing real estate in some of these smaller towns where it's just kind of like, it almost is like a deal on a napkin. It's like, so your bank didn't require you to put insurance and taxes in escrow, or no? Just gave me a loan for the house, and that never happened in Lincoln. There was a time where banks probably put more weight on your character and what it was that you were doing than what the numbers were, which the numbers aren't important. They're a bank. But now it's so overweighted the other way. It's 95% numbers and 5%, like after the no, they're like, and I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Yeah.
Like, really? I'm
absolutely
putting my life on the line.
Mm-hmm. True story. One of the no's that I got when I was out trying to get money for the company, they said, well, you're in Panama, and we did have 2 different people default on loans in Panama, and so our bank is not going to be ready to loan to somebody. And I swear to God, that
like it's in the water out there or something.
Right, like, oh, you live in Panama, you must be, everybody in Panama is a dud.
Which also is somebody you didn't want to work with at that point.
No,
you're like,
it's true.
Can you imagine though to say that?
Desperate,
it's just like.
So, what is that second piece of information we want to pass off to the listener?
Well, know your audience, know your structure of what you're trying to do. You know your customers, know what there's something to take away. To say we offer a service, we offer a product, we stand by it. Mm-hmm. What we do as we say and say as we do.
Yeah. You got to dig deep.
Yeah.
You got to dig deep and really understand what that customer is looking for and then connect with them.
So you're working for this company It's bought by a competitor on a horizontal purchase, but you can move where they are, whatever. They close it down here in Lincoln. So did you find when you reopened and went back in, you get your loan, you have your place, you go back in, were a lot of those same clients there for you? Did they come back? Did you feel like you had to start at scratch? I mean, because that's your your client, that's your audience, right? Were they there when you were ready to open? Also, real quick, how long was that break? So it was around the holidays when you found out you're losing your job's moving. Then from that point, when did you open? 3 months, 9 months, a year?
It was about 6 months from when we lost our job to that, because the banks are saying no.
Sure.
We finally got a yes, and we finally got the lease agreement set up, and we got employees hired.
Great.
And get product being done. You max out credit cards, do whatever it is you can do besides the loan, and just get everything rolling. And the interesting thing about all this is when we first started, there's one thing I didn't really mention at the time. We kept getting phone calls from our previous customers at GT Exhaust because the communication wasn't there. Or GT Exhaust, IC Acoustics.
Yeah.
I said, Mike, where's my order? Or, hey, where's my estimate for this new project? And I said, you didn't hear? We shut down and they're selling the parts of the company. I said, well, nobody told us. I said, what am I going to do? What am I doing? It's like, he says, can't you build this in your garage? And I looked at Juan, and Juan looks at me and he goes, yeah, we'll build it in the garage. I go, are you nuts? You just have a brand new house. And it's like, what? It's like, so we ended up painting. I need to put this picture on our website. We were actually painting some exhaust Y connectors that go from the engine to the silencer or muffler in his white garage. It's black, so everything is black. Oh my Lord. We went to a business meeting after that. We had black paint behind our ears, of course, and I'm like, oh, this is ridiculous. What is going on? But they say the best businesses start from a garage, so that's what we did. Microsoft. Yep, we went from that to Apple. The building in the Air Park area, which GT Exhaust used to be in, IC because it used to be in there. Yeah, so that's what we did for that. Mark LeBaron, Lincoln Industries, started in his garage. Oh, did he really? Yeah, my dad was his electrician for a lot of things and had to wire some stuff in his garage. And so good for you.
So from when you finally got the loan, got the equipment, it was 6 months till you got the loan. Right. How long until you produced the first piece rolled off the line? Actually, we produced the first piece of equipment in Juan's garage 2 months before we got the building. Nice. Okay. So we ended up making our first product. And people that worked with us at GT said, we need you to do this. Mm-hmm. We'll get you whatever you can, because I need to make this project for this customer. So they heard our experience, they heard where we came from, but we weren't GT Exhaust, we weren't IC, we're this new company. So who's this new company? So like an actor trying out for a role, we had to show them we had what it takes to be the company that they wanted to buy product from. One of the major companies, I want to buy everything from you right now, but I can't because my corporate says, no, you need to see if you're going to be around. So we had to wait like 1.5 to 2 years. Yeah, you're a risk also at that time. I get it. And I fully understand that. I get that. So we got that. So that was kind of a soft no to a yes later. We just had to be patient. Yeah. And keep in front of them and let them know we're here. We're still doing good. Yeah. Here's new products. Yeah. Yeah, that's a difficult spot to be in. Right. When you want to do business together, but they just can't take the risk. Yeah, the same message came out from everybody, whether it was a bank, whether it's a customer, whether it's vendors. They said, I love your story. I want to work with you, but insert whatever the reason is.
So we talk about a lot. I mean, a lot of the people we interview, of course, marketing is a big part of the conversation, and sales and all of that. So I'm just curious, were either you or Juan what were your positions in the company? Were you on the manufacturing floor manufacturing? Were either of you in the sales,
like before the company started?
So before our company started at GT Exhaust, Juan was in the shop doing shop work. Got it. I was always in the office doing design drawings.
Okay.
And sales.
So they knew you. Okay.
Yeah. I was the first voice from that. And then Juan went from the shop to purchasing and material handler. Met my wife, because my wife used to work at GT Exhaust too. So they worked together in purchasing. And he was promoted throughout the company from shop to office. I needed somebody in sales for our product specialist area. I recommended that he joins our team. He's part of the team. 3 months later, he's my boss. And I'm Juan. what
Juan, what are you doing?
Everyone's
Juan?
looking at that stuff, so it's like, hi, this sucks for me to be your boss. And it's like, but it is what it is, right?
Oh man.
So it ended up being a great experience. It was just fantastic because we're friends, but work.
Yeah.
So when that came about from GT and we went through that evolution and became as business partners, equal business partners, you do this, we do this, we just do it together.
Nice.
So we've done everything other than, I don't know how to weld. Juan doesn't know how to weld. Our shop won't let us go out to learn how to weld. They're very smart. We'll take care of it.
Yeah.
So,
they don't want to see it coming back for repair.
But you were positioned in the business ahead of time that when you had your own business now, people knew who you were.
Right.
It wasn't like, oh, I worked in the shop and now I'm gonna, not that that's bad. I think coming from the quote bottom or all parts of the business up is always an asset.
Well, and it helps you relate to your employees.
Yep.
I did this for 2 years. Now I own the company. So
done that.
You can do this too.
Yeah. So Juan would have, I try very, very hard not to speak for Juan. So Juan is in the shop doing a certain duty, and we go out in the shop to talk to the people doing the work. And they're saying, okay, what can we do differently? What are we doing wrong now? Or can we improve upon it? Because remember, the name of the company is innovative. We have to figure out a way to do that. So believe it or not, most of them say, well, we do it good now. It works fine for now because we're hitting the ground running. I said, one of these days you have to slow down and just look at the problem, see if it can be improved upon.
Mm-hmm.
Once it gets improved upon, we're even going even better. We can take on more work, more clients.
That's true in everything. I'm picking up a hobby, and now that I'm semi-retired, we may need to put an A in there. Whatever. But I'm starting to paint, like artistically paint. And it's in connection to what you just said. There's times where you're working on it. It's just right there in front of you working. You got to put it aside and go back like 20 feet and look at it. And it's completely different. But sometimes you have to get away from what you're doing, step back, take a break, and look at it again. It's the same in business. It correlates right over to business, but it's that way in a lot of things. So it's a very smart thing that you were doing that. I mean, makes a big difference. It's easy to just get stuck in your little world, and you have that inner perception. We've talked about this before. I've talked about this before. For those of you listening, I am so sorry. It's like the 10th time I tell this story. Did you hear when the bomb squad was called on me in Prague, which is a true thing, by the way? Anyway, it is oftentimes easy to get in that bubble, and you need the outer perception of what's going on. Stepping back away from it, it's a very wise thing to do. So kudos for you.
So what's that next piece of advice? What's that third piece of advice, that third takeaway we want to give to the listeners?
Focus on the why. On what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Always ask the why.
Good one.
So just, we do what we do because it works. It's not broken. Don't fix it. Those kind of attitudes. Yeah, this is the way we used to do it. It's all good to go. When you bring somebody from another company who's never worked at GT and has this to offer, it'd be great advice. But it's like, I'm comfortable in my zone. Just do it. Yeah, it'll be fine. And then after a while, he says, well, why? Why are we doing that? So let's have a little contest. He does it his way, you do it your way, and we'll look at it at the end of the week to see which one is better. It's like,
it's a great way to do it.
It's like you're making a cake. No, it's a process flow or this and that, or maybe we do this instead of that.
It's the 6 most expensive words in business, or we've always done it that way.
Yeah.
Well, just because you've done it, that got you here, but it might not get you there.
Yeah, I'm on a board right now that every 6 years you're out. You're on for 6 years. And I've been on boards where it's 3 years. I've been on boards where it's forever board. You can think of one I'm thinking of right now. And it ends up being like you're in the Dead Sea. There's no inflow, outflow. I mean, it's just
it gets comfortable.
Nightmare.
I mean, when you're not pushing yourself to innovate, it gets comfortable. And then comfortable becomes laziness, and laziness becomes your competitors are out there on the court beating you, and then pretty soon, boop, you're out of business.
So basically, they each had 1 week to make a cake, and we saw which one tasted better. I am a professional food tester, so if you ever meet out there,
I think his cakes are made out of steel.
Yes,
yeah, we might get a cake made out of an exhaust
Chinese
muffler
food if you ever do that one.
Okay.
And it would be just great.
Yeah, it's very.
That's a good takeaway, right? Your why. What is your why?
Yeah, why do we do it this way? Why don't we do it that way?
I love that.
Yeah. And that's a little bit of the Simon Sinek find your why.
Yeah.
Which if you business owners out there have not read that book, go check it out. Find your why. Even watch the video, because I'm lazy. I'll just watch the
There's
video.
a lot of Instagram videos.
Yeah.
He talks about that and everything. And, just some of he resonates all this information he's basically discovered throughout his lifetime. And it's just practical learning.
Yeah.
Expose yourself to a good environment.
Yeah.
Be in a good environment.
Yeah. Well, and change is growth. Change happens constantly, and it happens so much faster now than it did 60 years ago with technology. So if you're not asking, like, why are we still doing this way? Or is there a better way to do this? Or is there an alternative to something that we can do? It's important. It'll keep you on the front line with your business, obviously.
It will. What's that fourth piece of advice?
I think, live for your passion. Be passionate about something. Some people have summer jobs and they say, well, this isn't going to amount to anything. I'm just going to pay the bills. But what would I really want to do? And how much money does it make? There's people that say, well, I'm in it for the money, so I'll just do this because it makes me money, but it's not what I'm passionate about. There are people that are really passionate about something and they get paid peanuts, literally. And it's like, but I love doing it. So that's my biggest advice, is whether you want to be a business owner or be a head of a department or just be maybe co-owner or franchise owner or something. If that's your passion, do it.
And even if you're not passionate about it, if you're doing something, find a reason to get passionate about it.
I agree. Yeah,
because if you can do that, my son is a great example. He's an electrician. He didn't grow up going, I want to twist wires together. Nobody does.
Yeah.
But he got to a point where he really started to enjoy it. He kind of worked on himself to become better at what he does. And now a total electrical nerd. He loves how things work and how things operate. And he's become passionate about it. And
money will follow that.
Yeah.
Because electricians and plumbers are the future millionaires, honestly. In my business, I see it all the time.
Yeah. We're paying them.
Yeah.
We're making them.
But it's harder to find. I'm glad we have that focus school out at SEC that is letting people know there's a different path you can take other than 4 years of college and God forbid, become a lawyer or something like, oh, David's here. Shoot, I messed that up.
Leaving
kidding.
radio to become a lawyer. I can't believe it. We should follow him. We should see if they need a couple more.
He's going to be like, oh, I don't have to deal with Gary anymore. That's a good takeaway, though. Very good.
And what's the last one? What's that last takeaway?
Surround yourself with people that want to support you. You have a cheerleading squad. You have people that basically believe in you, and it's there's nothing more frustrating than have somebody around. It's, oh, they're going to fail. You're going to do this. You're a naysayer, a negative person. It's like, I'm going to go step over here because it kind of is too negative.
Yeah.
I'm going to succeed. Are you along for the ride or not?
Right. Yeah. One bad apple
can
spoil the whole bunch. We talk about it all
the time.
Yeah.
We even talk about, like, for me, cutting the news out. The news is always negative. Cut that negativity out of your life. It draws you down. It's not going to help you.
Yep.
People, employees. Yeah. You have to cut that out of your life.
Time has flown. I did that 7 years ago. Cut out news totally. I just don't listen. Don't really read. And people are always like, you're in real estate and you're dealing with people all the time that know everything that's going on. How do you do that and not know what's going on? You do a radio show. I go, because everybody tells you what's going on. You might not find out Gaza was attacked for 3 days, but you find out. Somebody tells you all the horrible stuff, Right. And so, but it sure changes your attitude. Mindset's everything, right? Hadestown is a really good Broadway show I saw recently. And one part of that show are the fates. It's 3 women called fates. And they're and we all have fates in our head all the time, right? Like, David's like, oh, I'm going to go work at this law firm. What if this doesn't happen? It's all the doubt, right? So keeping your mindset straight is a big part of that as well.
Yeah.
And hire for your culture. That's what you want to
Absolutely.
do, right? You want to hire for people that build you up, not tear you down.
Yeah. Someone once told me that failure is a good thing.
Yes. We talk about it all the time.
It's the foundation to be successful.
Fail up.
You need to know what it feels like, and you need to know why it happened and what to do so it doesn't happen again. Yeah.
Well, I think... So look at the volleyball team. I'm probably going to get crushed for saying this by people, but they were winning. They're awesome, and that when they lost to Texas A&M, it was just shocking, but they hadn't had that experience. In my mind, I thought, God, I wish they would have lost like their 4th or 5th game.
Yeah.
Just because you have that in your back pocket and you're moving forward. My dad's saying, one of the ones I always remember besides measure twice and cut once, or you got to buy it, is it's not the mistakes you make in life, but what you do about them, right? So it's not the failures that you have, but it's what you take away from it and move forward.
And I look back at so many failures in my life, business experience, they have shaped my business so much more than the success, because success is easy. Oh, hey, Big contract, woo, right? And off you go. What did you learn from it? You've learned something from it, but not like a failure has.
Yeah. And my team lead at real estate, Amy Burkles, always says, when you go through something hard, or, you lose a client, or, a $10,000 commission goes out the window, or whatever, always look for the blessing in it. There's a blessing in everything. What is the blessing in that? And it has so refocused my mind to keep it positive when negative things happen. Well, thanks for listening. This is great. We got to take off for a break here. And when we come back, we'll have more with Mike. It's been pretty interesting so far, which is awesome. This segment was sponsored by 5 Takeaways, Nebraska Farmers Network. We want to thank Nebraska Farmers Network for sponsoring the show. NFN exists to support Nebraska farmers and ranchers through education, advocacy, and connection. It's about strengthening agriculture in the communities that depend on it and keeping Nebraska farms Nebraska owned. Go to nebraskafarmersnetwork.com. You're listening to the 402 Business Insiders. Stick with us. We'll have more with Mike on the other end, and we'll see you then.
That's it.
On the other side.
That's it.
99.3 KLIN.
And thanks for sticking with us. I'm Travis Filing with Gary Tharnish. You're listening to the 402 Business Insiders, sponsored by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBEW 265. Want to thank them for joining us. So we're talking with Mike Rodriguez, co-owner of inExhaust, and it's time for unexpected impact. Business is full of surprises, some good, usually not so good. What is something, Mike, that happened either in inExhaust or previous companies that was totally unexpected, and how did you handle it?
So I think the first thing that I think about when you ask that question is that we had this premise that we needed to hire all the ex-GT Exhaust employees that we basically were raised up with, where we worked with them, family aspect. Now we have this company. Now it's time for you to join us. Well, they all had other, companies that they went with because it took us so long to get started. And some people say, I would love to work for you. How can I do that? And I was like, I'm looking at the payroll and what we can offer, I said, listen, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I can't afford you what I want to pay you. So unless you want to work for half of that, sure. But that doesn't seem right. That's entirely up to you. You have to take care of your family and things of that. So that has always been in the back of our mind. And we've grown. Everyone says, don't grow too fast because, you're going to end up being out of business soon. So in our situation, it's an essential business. We do exhaust systems for backup generators that are power not only the U.S., but the world. Mm-hmm. And we're having a global impact at this point. So we go back to 2020, COVID hits. So we're like, uh-oh, now what do we do? So we got vendors that don't have product because people are sick. We have competitions that the entire state is shut down because they are just inlaid with COVID issues. Luckily for us, we had an 80-20 rule, and they said, this is what we're doing. Somebody asked me, hey, how are you affected by COVID? I said, we're not. We have one guy out. The rest of the shop is here. We can run the entire shop with 6 people. And at the time, he had 18. He goes, that's all I need to hear, Mike. Here's all my business.
Nice.
And I'm like, what did you just say? And it was a wonderful thing. It was a blessing. Yeah. Blessing in disguise as far as that. But we had this mindset to make sure we have backup plans for everything. And luckily for us, we did all the checking to make sure people are healthy and make sure they don't have this and to wear masks and all these type of things. And that's taught us a lot. The other item from that as well is that now you have a reputation after 5 years. So what's next for you? And somebody says, I think you've earned it. I want to give you more business in this area, in this arena. So now we're involved in a bunch of architects' plans, engineering specs. We're one of the 3 or 4 people that they say to call, and now we're at the top of the list.
Yeah.
So we've earned it. So now it's like, okay, I need to call. I don't know who these guys are. They've been around for X amount of years. I'm going to call these guys. Hey, I need you to do this. Probably one of my best stories, and one of the things I love to hear is when a customer calls me, say, hey, I need you to replace an old GT exhaust part. And I go, oh, okay, well, give me an idea what the part number is. What the drawing you're looking at. Let's take a look at the drawing here. Well, there's a drawing. Okay. It says drawn by, right? What are the initials there? MAR. That's me. And they're like, oh, so you know what I'm talking about? I said, absolutely. I can make an inExhaust version of that for you. Not a problem. And I can get it to you. Here, price, delivery, you're good to go. It says, why do I need the GT Exhaust catalog? Oh, no, you can keep that. That's great. That has some value. Just look at our inExhaust catalog to see how they differ. So, and that's just a wonderful experience.
So back on the COVID thing, because we very rarely talk to somebody who really had made that an opportunity. Mm-hmm. How much business did you scoop up from your competitors?
Probably about 30%.
Really?
Yeah. Well, Sarah, that will be on or we've had on, she said she grew during that time too because of her business model. People that found a way to make it work during COVID did really well.
Yes.
And it was interesting because we were being quote led by a culture of government that basically is like, I mean, what risk do they have really, right? I mean, they're going to get their check,
right,
no matter what. But when I had to close down, like I owned a flower shop for 38 years. So when they closed down everything, we had really niched into doing event work. And so we lost all this event work for the rest of the year in March. And that's like 70-some% of our business. Right. So that's tough, right? I mean, talk about unexpected impact. But my favorite call during that time was from the insurance company that said 6 weeks in called, hey, we're just calling everybody to let you know that we're here for you. And, you know, I just let her kind of go through the whole thing. And this is me being blunt and probably not really nice, but if there's anything we can do, let us know, you know. And I'm sure she probably had done that all day. And I'm her 400th call. And I said, thank you for offering to help. There is something that you can do. And she perked right up and she goes, really, but what? Anything to help? And I go, well, we lost 72% of our business. So if I could get a 72% reduction in my insurance costs until this kind of, you know, works itself out, that would be great.
Yeah.
Like,
good luck with that.
Silence. Crickets, right? I mean, and then I'm like, I'm so terrible, you know, and she's like, well, I can't go. I know you can. I go, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's not a level playing field.
Right.
Yeah.
So did you keep a lot of that business that you gained?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's awesome.
It is very awesome. Cool. Good for you. Now, so today, how many employees do you have?
I think we should have a little over 100 now.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Nice. Are you still in that same building?
So
or
the building that we
better coffee and let you move?
So what ended up happening about 2 or 3 years ago, we had the opportunity to buy some property.
Okay.
So we bought a building on 48th and Superior. It's one building south of the Culligan building right there in the corner.
Okay. I know right where you are.
So we've been in that building for about 2.5 years. And we figured we'd have 2 campuses, one in Air Park and one there. And it was going great. And some idiot, I'm pointing to myself, keeps selling product, keeps getting building up our customer base with everything. So Juan and I were looking at other properties to buy or at least have or lease or everything. So we found a bigger building, which is the old Bosch building off of
the old Telex building.
Oh, 86 then. So yes,
yeah, sure. It was available and I could talk about it now, but at the time we couldn't talk about it. And we decided to make an offer. They accepted it and we had that building.
Nice.
So
that's a good sized building too.
So you've moved in there, or we
have moved in there.
Okay.
The rest of the company that's on 48th Street is going to move there within the next 3 to 4 months. We're doing it kind of slowly.
Sure.
But that has like triple the amount of space for us building wise. And then it's on 34 acres.
Jeez.
Seriously. it goes all the way back.
So so we have all of that. So we've had business meetings with customers to come see us. They want to give us more business.
Good.
And they wanted to say, well, do you have what it takes to grow with us? And it's just a gesture to say, I have my arms up. You know, sort of like the Lion King. This will all be yours one day, right? Yes. And it's like, this is all ours. And they're like, oh, I go, never mind. Absolutely, we're good. Here are the POs. Get it done.
So you sign the contract. We'll start building on this 34-acre site to support you.
Yeah, exactly. So is the airport going to move? That building going to go?
Actually, there was a lease building, and we decided to finish our lease with that last November.
Nice. Okay.
So we're out of there. We're thinking it basically scooped up right away for sure.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, we got a break coming up here, so let's run to that real quick. I want to thank the UPS stores of Lincoln for sponsoring the show. For business owners, the UPS store is more than just shipping. It's printing, it's mailboxes, signs, brochures, fat heads, Do we still have our fat heads? We used to have those. I have
Okay, my story, good Lord. Mine's at the office, and it goes around the office all over in so many rude ways you cannot imagine. So there's a little kid's house that they auctioned off at the house and garden show, and my big old face is in this tiny little front. Yeah, anyway. So yes,
I love it.
I'm not real happy about it, but
well, go check out the UPS stores. They are a great resource for your business. 5 Lincoln locations. Go online to theupsstore.com. You're listening to the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. We're talking with Mike Rodriguez, owner of inExhaust, and we're going to have more right after this break.
We are back on 402 Business Insider. This segment is sponsored by Wyuka Cemetery and Funeral Home. I'm Gary Tharnish with Travis Filing, and we're talking with Mike Rodriguez, co-owner of inExhaust. And it's time for This Needs an Adjustment, sponsored by Ascend Chiropractic. Business is all about constant adjustment, and nothing ever works 100% according to plan. Sometimes you need to make a big shift. So, Mike, tell us about something in your business that needed an adjustment. Like how you recognize the problem, what you did to get things back in line. What comes to mind?
So it's funny. This segment is perfectly timed because we're going through a new ERP system as we speak.
And that stands for our extra responsive people.
Whatever acronym you want to use. It's supposed to make things much easier as far as that. So it's basically a program to ensure that our processes and flows run accurately throughout the company.
Okay, cool.
So like, for instance,
it's like a process checkup.
So we're going from our current system to a newer system, and we've gone through a couple different ones to see if they work. And this one has promise. It's something that's called SOS Inventory. It's doing quite well for us. But just the implementation into what we know is different. So you have kind of a learning curve. So people are like anxious. They want to get it done. They want to get these things taken care of. And there's a little bit of adjustment that we're doing now to make it better. So same time last year, everything was rolling just fine, but there was like a bottleneck because we just having too much work and the communication wasn't where it needed to be.
Okay.
So we're making adjustments. It's going to help with all that. And sometimes people love change. People are a little afraid of change, especially when they don't understand it. So if you set it up to where everyone understands the process, and whether they're involved in that part or in that part, at least they understand how it's all going. So one's a very visual guy. So he wants to make sure we have flow charts that say, this is where it goes. This is what happens here. Okay. So at any particular moment, everybody knows exactly what's going on with that particular item.
That's pretty awesome because knowledge is power. And so many times in companies as they scale, when big problems arise, is that the people on this level of the company don't know what the people at this level are doing, or middle management. It just goes down the whole spectrum. So everybody it kind of helps disseminate the knowledge of the process, basically.
Right. So we have people in place that are basically the leaders of the company for these particular areas, departments that say, this is what we're doing. And you'll see right off the bat if they're communicating to the team properly. So if they're not, or there's confusion, it's like, well, let's eliminate the confusion. Yeah. Let's say, this is what we're doing. This is the timetable to do it. It may not agree with what you want today, but at the end of the day, at the end of this week or at the end of this month, whatever it is, it's going to be much better. Yeah. And I think some people just need to have some trust and faith in us. They've done it all these years to begin with. But sometimes when they don't physically see it, it's not tangible. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know what this is happening. And that's the beauty of what we do. It's in the name innovative. We're trying to find the next way, the next method to do what we do better.
Right.
And some people are just late to the meeting. It's like, what's going on? And it's like, well, don't be late to the meeting.
Change is inevitable, but it's also often difficult. You know, I mean, if you're used to doing something a certain way, then like, don't tell me how to do my eggs differently, Mike. I know how I like them in the morning. Okay. So there's a better way than over easy. Yeah, no. I mean, so I get it.
Yeah.
It would, the process is huge.
So how many softwares did you go through till you found this?
Just a couple. Okay. Just a couple. The last one we were doing, some companies locally use it and they're very happy with it, but the support system wasn't in place. So we made a decision to pull it and do something else instead.
And you got to be quick about that because time is, time is so precious, and you get too deep in it and then you start spending time, you start spending money trying to make it work.
Right.
You're only going to be frustrated. Your employees are going to be frustrated, and then you'll have an even bigger mess. So that is something in business. Make a decision, make it quick. It's working, it's not working, move on and go on to the next thing and figure it out.
Right.
So how you said you went through a couple of them?
A couple of them, yeah. And so far it's been working out pretty good. I mean, happy to say, knock on wood, everything's going how it should be.
Oh, we can actually find wood.
Yes, I know.
So yeah,
that's rare.
We're
anymore. I'm like, knock on
fake wood,
board, fake this fiberboard,
yeah.
Knock on something.
So now all the manufacturing is moved to the new facility.
Most of the manufacturing has moved to that area. There's the rest of it that's going to be moving in the next 3 months.
And all the offices are over there?
And all the offices will be over there, yeah. So
so that's what's at 48th Street of the offices.
48th, actually there are offices in both locations, but we're renovating the new building to have all the offices. We have plenty of office space. So
oh yeah.
Just
that's
plenty
a
of
big building.
That has to be tough having 2 facilities. Is that tough to manage?
It is. We had 2 facilities ever since the last 6 years, from Air Park to the new building. And so we were growing into that other building. Now we just personally procured this one last year. So we've been doing about 4 years, more or less. So it's just, you got radios, you got ways of communicating, moving things from one building to another.
But there still has to be some inefficiencies, I would think.
Oh yeah. That's why we're under one building now. Eventually this year we'll do it. But we have so much business, we're probably going to keep the old building for some time until we have a buyer for it.
Oh, nice.
Which we have 2 or 3 buyers are interested in it too. It's just, we need to kind of get out of it. Thing. So we're no hurry on our end. They're no hurry for that. So it works out. So
I remember when we expanded in Omaha and we just had one person in Omaha. It was tough. It was tough to coordinate. It was tough because for us, there was 80 miles in between the 2 offices, but that's a balancing act.
Well, there's something to be said for being able to have a challenge presented to you. You're looking at your desk, you're sitting there and you see it, and you see this challenge, and you need to go talk to Rob, right? And Rob's in the other building, so you can call. Maybe he's on a phone call, so now you got to wait. You can email. Maybe you'll get the email back right away. Maybe you won't. Whatever. It's a whole different thing when I can pick up the thing, walk over to his office, just go, hey, when you have a minute, and then we're right there and you can solve the problem or the challenge together. There's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah.
Our title company moved into our building, and it's so nice now because if a title, something pops up, it's not a message is going back and forth. I can walk over and sit down and go, okay, let's walk through this. Let's find the solution before I call the client and, share what the challenge is and then say, but here's solutions.
And you had multiple locations at one point, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Actually, from the very first time I bought the store, I bought in '86, and we had a satellite store right outside of Ardan's in East Park. A lot of people don't know that. So I had that. I'm very young. Yes. I know I look really old, but I'm very young. That's not true either. But we did have a second place, and it was interesting. It's a challenge. And then when I expanded, then we had 2 locations for a while, which was one was. The interesting thing about a flower shop is that it is a unique business where we manufacture everything we sell too, right? So you get 1,000 different flowers in different buckets, but you got to pick them together and make sure it looks nice when you send flowers to Kay, right? So it was happening in 2 different buildings. That ended up that was a big challenge for us because customers were walking into our call center and retail spot, but they couldn't see what we were going to make on the other end.
Yeah. Well, This Needs an Adjustment, sponsored by Ascend Chiropractic. When you need an adjustment in your business and in your body. Do it before things get out of hand. Total chiropractic care for adults, pediatrics. They do rehabilitation, acupuncture, cupping, weight loss. The list goes on and on. To see their list of services or to schedule, you can actually go on, schedule your own appointment online. I wish I could do that in my business. Go check them out, ascendchiropracticne.com. You're listening to the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish, talking with Mike Rodriguez, co-owner of inExhaust, and we'll have more right after this break.
199.3 KLIN.
Welcome back. You're listening to the 402 Business Insider. Thanks for sticking with us. This segment is sponsored by the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce. Gary Tharnish, Travis Filing, and we're talking with Mike Rodriguez, co-owner of inExhaust. And before we hop to this last segment, so we have a TV in here, and I've been watching 402 cross country. That's what I'm going to call it now.
That's it.
Watching the Olympics, cross country skiers, they're still going across country. I'm hoping by next week they'll be done. I don't think I could ever do that. Anyway,
no.
I am kind of paying attention to the show. I mean, it's probably obvious. I'm watching that every once in a while. But anyway, Mike, in this last segment, we kind of, why don't you just kind of wrap it up a little bit? Like, how do people find you? I know you're hiring now. How do people get hired? What does the job look like? How do they reach you? All that kind of stuff.
So all of that's done from our website, careers, on our website under the careers banner for that. We usually don't work with hiring services. They just come to the area and fill out an email, fill out an application.
Sure.
They get scheduled an interview. And when you come in, there's an actual monitor that says, these are the positions we're hiring. We have a great social media presence. So we have Facebook, LinkedIn, all those type of things to say, these are the areas we're looking to hire. This is the job scope of what we're looking to do. And then we just have all kinds of applicants come in and go through that process.
What is the URL of the website? Is it inExhaust.com?
inExhaust.com, yes.
That's simple. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. My buddy Tim, his son Ram, works for you guys. He enjoys it. He said it's been great. I mean, he was in college and he's like, college isn't my thing, which I get. College wasn't my thing either. And I think Tim knows you or Juan, I can't remember which, and said, hey, come on out.
I think Tim knows Juan, and he ended up talking to Ram, and Ram ended up joining us. And I had met him a couple of days after he'd gone through his orientation and introduced myself. He goes, yeah, I know Juan and his family. And I go, oh, my man, give me a love. Give me a hug, buddy. It's like, yeah, so we just, it's really good. It's a really nice family / team kind of atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you know your employees, it's tough, especially when you get to 100, knowing everybody. It's tough, but man, if you can do it, do it. That's a great lesson in business. Know your employees, know something about them, because that builds the culture. So how did you guys build the culture? Did you just kind of grab the GT, what you experienced from GT?
Yeah, we learned all the good things from GT and all the good things from IAC. I mean, I'm not saying it was never bad at IAC, but Juan and I were raised, if we had anything good to say, don't say it. And honestly, everything that we had in our culture is great. The work culture, the supervisor culture, the team lead, all those type of things. We just brought all those good aspects into our company because that's where we learned from.
Mm-hmm.
The attitude that we also have is, I know how I want to be treated from a supervisor or a boss or, a trucker coming by to pick up some freight or something. I know how I want to be treated.
Right. Sure.
I'm going to do that with everybody.
Exactly. We might be related.
Yeah. Well,
because my mom always said that too. If you don't have anything nice to say about somebody, don't say anything at all.
My dad never said that.
No.
He said whatever was on the top of his mind.
He said stuff like, when's that gravy gonna slop over here on my taters? That was your dad. Yeah. I love it.
So I try to have the mindset that, I want to make sure that our employees feel they're of value,
right?
That their opinions mean something and they're cared for. I care about everybody. So does Juan. And the beauty of it is I want to treat you like I want to be treated. And there's some people, it's alien to them.
Yeah.
So now I don't tell them I'm co-owner or co-founder or vice president, even though technically I am. I'm a team member. I'm your team member.
Yeah.
I'm at the same level.
Yeah.
I can't do it without you. You can't do it without me.
Sure.
So we need each other. Mm-hmm. We're symbiotic.
Yeah.
And I think that really resonates a lot with everybody.
And a lot of business owners don't realize people don't quit jobs. They really don't. They quit bosses. They quit managers.
Right.
They quit situations.
You know what else a lot of people don't realize? And there's been university study after university and research study after research study that shows it's still about the same percentage. About 68% of the people that trade time for dollars feel like recognition is more important than the money they're getting paid. They want the money they're getting paid. Don't misunderstand that. But by recognition, it just means to know that they matter and to know that you know them and that you've been where they've been and you understand what's going on, and just walking up, hey, Travis, how are you doing today? How are things going? How's Shannon? Or whatever, that you can have a conversation with them, as opposed to the execs off in a different part of the building, closed doors. You don't ever see them. They're not part of the family. It's a huge thing. Recognizing people, thanking them, simple thank you for what you do today. You know?
Yeah. We do anniversary cards, birthday cards, thank you cards.
Yeah.
We do all kinds of things in appreciation. If we have a great sales month, we do potluck lunches and things like that. Food days once a month if we can.
Don't do what I did. I sent one of my clients one time a thank you package from Omaha Steaks. It's great, but not for a vegetarian. Anyway, get the birthdays right.
Know your audience.
That was my favorite call.
Yes.
It's like, Gary, thank you so much, but we're both vegetarians. I guess we never told you that. I'm like, well, I'll pick that up and bring you some chocolate. They got a lot of chocolate from chocolate season that day. Anyway.
So I know somebody who gave one of their employees that when the live lob or something you could ship, and the person he sent it to was freaked out, like, I'm not going to kill this lobster, then tried to set it free by putting it in the river.
No.
Right? And it's like,
Oh,
that's
no.
a salt water.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You gave it a torturous death.
So,
my Lord.
Lessons in life.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
Hilarious
Right.
lessons
Right.
in life. That's the best part. So how many people are you looking for hiring wise
I
right
think
now?
Right now we have a little over 100. I think we're trying to get to about 120. Maybe
Wow.
125.
people.
You know, that's for just the scope of work we're having right now, but we're ramping up. A lot of the product that we're doing, customers say, listen, we need you to do more. We need you to do more. We need you to do more. And we're not going to mislead anybody. It's like, this is what we can do based on our current staff. So what we may have to ask ourselves during an adjustment is say, well, let's hire X amount of people, maybe do a second shift, maybe do a partial second shift, which we hadn't even talked about yet.
Yeah.
So you guys just have one shift
We
right
just have
now?
one shift, 5 days a week.
The positions you're hiring for, I mean, you wouldn't hire me. I put oil in my transmission fluid thing, but can most people be trained for that? Or is this a skill? Like they have to know and have done the job before, or could Travis come in and be trained to do that?
We would prefer to have some experience and some training.
Okay.
But some of the candidates we have for some welding, they don't have what it takes to pass a test of ours, whether somebody graduated or what have you.
Yeah.
So we've been seriously talking about doing our own welding school on campus.
Nice.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So we're kind of thinking about it's been an inception and idea for several times, but it's like now we're like, okay, it's now the time to do it.
I know a couple of welders and I've chatted with them about things, and I had no idea the intricacies involved with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And at what point have you guys looked into like robotics of welding, or is it your stuff that specialized that can't?
Yeah, we went down that avenue, but some of our product is so custom and it's not repeatable that sometimes it has to be just perfect for us to use a robotic welder.
Yeah.
So that there's no value added as far as that goes.
And the expense, I would imagine, is immense.
It is. We've done some beta tests and checking things out to make sure that would be a good thing for us. And if everything worked, it would be ideal, but it only worked probably about 2 or 3 days a week for what we were doing.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's not going to work for
Yeah.
us. So.
And it's probably easier to reprogram a human than a robot, or maybe vice versa. I don't know.
I don't
We'll
know.
soon find out. There's gonna be
I don't know.
robots everywhere.
Well, Mike, thanks for coming in and talking to us, man. This has been a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
It has been, yeah.
Thank
Pleasure
you. Thank
meeting
you.
you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Kay,
Thank
you
so
as
much.
well. Thanks for coming and sitting in. His lovely wife has been here the whole time. She's wonderful.
Well, you've been listening to the 402 Business Insider. I want to thank Lincoln Coin and Bullion for sponsoring the show. They've been a trusted local resource for precious metals, rare coins, and collectibles, helping customers buy and sell with transparency and confidence. And right now, with the price of gold at $5,000 and silver going over 100, I think it's below 100 right now, but making sure you're getting a good product, because I see it on eBay and all these other places. Don't buy your silver on eBay. Just don't do it. Go check them out. LincolnCoinandBullion.com. You've been listening to the 402 Business Insider. Mike, appreciate you coming in. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish will be back next week. And stay tuned for Grow Lincoln. I see Robin's in the window here. She's ready for us to get out of her way. And so have a good weekend. Have a good week. And we'll see you next Saturday.